What the hell is going on?
Are we on?
Yeah, we're on now. We're on now.
Sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty. Yeah, I mean, you know how the shit you whack. Whatever. You guys don't have to be so rude, okay?
I don't know. We got shit.
This nigga is sweating through his mask.
Nigga, cause this shit hot in the bitch. Nigga trying to be funny and this shit is hot.
Let me wipe myself
Shit is
off,
hot.
man. Shit, I gotta wipe my. I gotta wipe my coronas off. Hold on, let me wipe my coronas
What
off.
if that was your doctor? And he come in, walk in, sweating through his mask, like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, that's like the what you call it commercial. Yeah, we'll see you in there.
Guess who just got reinstated? That commercial was funny as shit. Episode 142.
142.
The viral episode.
This hoe needs to go viral.
Could be the last one.
It could be the last one. We're dying.
No,
Everybody's dying.
You know we don't like that shit.
Yeah, what that?
Yeah.
I just found that motherfucker. Wipe it
Yeah,
down.
wipe that shit off too.
Wipe it down.
Jeez.
Episode 142.
I'm wiping my corona off. It kills the corona. The bacteria.
The corona, I'm telling you, remember who was still with you. A lot of people not running y'all commercials.
I'm trying to tell you. Hey, look, I'm going to tag their ass this week. I swear for God. Episode 142, Straight Meddling Show.
142.
LP.
The other one is Gati.
Mile, a.k.a. Green Mile.
And for the sake of laughing, I'm over here sweating like a goddamn Hebrew slave.
Yeah, how about you hit that towel real quick?
I don't know. How's that?
Making me nervous.
Yeah.
Look at all them corona droplets.
Yeah.
Real glistening.
Come on, droplets. Yeah, man. We
Don't sweat over here. We ain't trying to get coronas.
We got a good show coming up for y'all today. And again, our unofficial sponsor, which is our sponsor, whether they like it or not. Coronas.
We rocking with y'all.
Also this week, brought to you by...
Yep.
I thought this was...
Lysol.
Yeah, this is...
I got it from Sam's. It's like a 4-pack for like $8.
All right, this has no disinfecting power whatsoever.
Is that a bitch? You got coronavirus.
It got corona on the back.
It says does not kill 99.9%.
It got
It
corona.
does not kill.
So it'll get you that 0.1 though.
It got corona on the back. Quit being a hater.
Members Mark disinfectant wipes.
See? Exactly. The Waltons.
For
No,
some
that
reason,
is the Waltons.
Dawn Platinum, if you want to keep your dishes
clean. Yeah, exactly. All of the above. All these motherfuckers are sponsors today, whether you like it or not.
All right, we're trying to help y'all out over here, especially Corona.
You just
I know y'all didn't seen this stock market. It is plummeting.
Everybody's shit. My goddamn weed stock down to like a penny. I'm like, God damn, wait a minute.
I know Corona's marketing team was just like, man, we gonna work from home. Because ain't no work to be done here.
Come on.
And don't nobody want to see our commercials right now.
Did y'all have to name it that?
Ain't it CNV 19 or some shit like that?
COVID-19, but COVID stands for coronavirus 19 because there's different strains.
It's like herpes simplex 10 is the shit you get on your
I don't know anything about anything that starts with herp, but
you don't remember on Beverly Hills Cop?
Nope. You can educate us.
You cannot rope me in to that one.
I say no, nigga, I don't know. But yeah, so yeah, Corona is a thing. We'll get to that a little bit later. Just wash your fucking hands, people. It's not that fucking difficult, right?
Really, it's really about being cleansed. This is what I would say about this shit right now is that it's showing who's really motherfucking dirty.
Right.
Because if you already were clean, kept yourself clean and stuff like that, you kind of like you're more aware of stuff now. But you're like, I'm good for the most part until some shit really hits the fan. And then
it is airborne though, so it's not like it's 100%. But no, I mean that's the least you can do.
Yeah, at the very very least, right? And fuck it, we'll just talk about this shit now, because like people been freaking the fuck out. The entire time, I can take this shit off because it's hot.
And it's muffling.
But yeah, so people been freaking out the entire time. And a couple of weeks when the shit first jumped off and we were talking about it, I even said then, like, it's not that big of a fucking deal. People, I get it. People are dying and,
That makes it a big deal.
Well, people...
you just got some miscellaneous...
People die every day, B, for random-ass reasons, right? People die from falling off of ladders at their crib. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's like... like, don't freak out. There's no need to freak out because.
But we, as people, we always freak out.
Jeez.
So that shouldn't be shocking that everybody's freaking out. Like that's the norm for people and mass hysteria when something just automatically hits. Yeah, they're gonna freak out. That's what they do. What they're best at.
I don't get it. It doesn't.
You saw Men in Black.
people, a person is smart, but the people.
Yeah.
All that shit. Yeah. Shout out to Tommy Lee Jones. But I still don't get it because and then when you have these kind of moments too, you have the what do you call them, the conspiracy theorists, and they're all up in arms like, oh man, this is just something that's
got a conspiracy theory.
No, but not on this though.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised, but I mean, there's no evidence. Like the conspiracies I believe in, I have like something to base it on.
There's something tangible.
There's some smoke there where I'm like, that don't make sense. But I don't have nothing right now. So, but
are you actively searching for it?
I'm always searching.
The fuck you mean?
You didn't see at the end of the credits in X-Files, the truth is out there?
Yeah, it's still there, regardless.
But no, like, what people need to understand about this is, and I was thinking about this earlier, and y'all were making fun of me earlier because I wrote.
Look. Okay, look at this shit. Look at this shit. My man got bullet points in outline.
I wasn't making fun of. I'm just like, this nigga really got some shit he want to get across.
Well, if I'm going to talk about something in depth,
informed.
I gotta be informed. So I went and I did some research, and
this nigga texted 7:15 this morning
because I wanted to explain to people why they're making a big deal out of it.
Okay, all right.
Maybe it doesn't become a thing. I'm doubtful on that, but I wanted to explain the why behind it.
Made me running out of TP and shit.
But the why behind it is because they're looking at the growth curve. They're looking at the rate at which this is contagious, right? Okay. There's two main factors here. The growth curve that they're looking at, and then also the fact that these populations that it's getting into don't have any natural immunity. Okay. This is why you can't compare it to the flu. Say you're in a room with 100 people and 10 of them have the flu. Right. Once you come out of that room, a few people might catch it from them, but all 100 people are not because some of them already had the flu and they're immune. Some of them had the flu last year and they're immune now. Like, there's an immunity to it that prevents it from spreading. Right. There's a reason why on those cruise ships, they tested all 3,000 of them motherfuckers and all 3,000 had it because none of them have an immunity. Right. If you had done the same thing with the flu, which of course happens probably on every cruise because people get sick, they already paid for it, so they're like, I'm going. Right. But
you're damn right.
When somebody gets on a cruise with the flu, 3,000 people don't get off the cruise with the flu.
Right. Yeah, probably it's not, somebody person that's bunking with you or your people maybe next door.
Maybe exactly. But even people you come in contact with aren't necessarily going to get sick, right? I got the flu earlier this year. My wife didn't get sick, even though she was in close proximity to me, right? Because she had already gotten sick like months before that. Okay. Right? So those are the two main things you have to think about. That's how it's now, the problem on the growth side is it's growing exponentially. Okay. Right. And this is where people have a hard time. So like they'll compare it to the flu and they say, well, 25, 40,000 people died from the flu. 30 people have died from this. What's the big fucking deal? Okay. The deal is the flu doesn't grow exponentially. This, because of what I just said, there's no immunity, is growing exponentially, which means, and so everybody doesn't, it's hard to think in exponential terms. Yeah. So that's why it's hard to grasp.
Because it's more so out of sight, out of mind for the most part.
Yeah. But so I came up with like a little thought experiment to help people.
Shit. Let's see where you going. Let me put that sound back up there.
So imagine I had a magic eyedropper full of water, right? Okay. And
it's full of
now what makes it magic is that every time I try to squeeze it for a drop, the amount of water doubles, right? So and I say I do this once every minute. Once every minute I'll squeeze the eyedropper. So the first time I squeeze it, you get one drop. The next time you'll have two drops. The next time you'll have like a dime. The next you'll have like a thimble. Now let's take that example and go to Yankee Stadium. All right. And let's say I handcuff you to the highest seat in Yankee Stadium. Very top nosebleed, cheapest seat in the house. All right. And then I take my magic eyedropper down to the pitcher's mound and start doing it down there. and say I start all this at 12 noon, how long do you think it would take before the entire stadium is full? Like, what time do you think it would be?
Maybe an hour.
Shit, longer than
It would be 12:50 by the time it was full.
Yeah,
based on that.
Yeah.
Now, the second question would be, what time do you think it would be when the stadium is 93% empty, meaning only the field, the grass is covered, hasn't touched a single seat, and you're way at the top, so you can feel comfortable that the water's way down there, you're way up here.
Right.
What time do you think it would be when the water's just covering the grass?
From noon 7?
12:45, right? So when there's a
so from the grass to the
exactly when something's growing exponentially, it doesn't get intense until the very end. But so you would have sat there for 45 minutes and been like, I'm good. Like the water's way down there. I'm up here. I got plenty of time to figure out how to get unattached from this seat.
Then
and get
all
out
of a sudden it's on your ass.
4 minutes later, it's full and you're drowning. Right? And so that is a demonstration of exponential growth, which is what we have seen in Italy, right? Which is why their whole country.
But yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing with Italy. Like the whole fucking country, but it was just on I think the northern side of it, or.
Yeah, but here's the difference, right? So there's some places that are handling it better. So you have places like Hong Kong, Singapore, Taiwan, Korea, who have been doing a really good job because one, they set up testing to test everybody. Like in Korea, they set up drive-through tests. You even got to get out your fucking car, right? And they shut down all traffic. So what you want to do when you're trying to contain something,
kind of funnel it.
Yeah, first of all, you already know you have it in your country. So you don't want to add to that by having motherfuckers fly in and bring extra shit, right?
Right.
So first you shut down your borders, then you try to limit people's movement, and then you test everybody so you can treat the cases, right?
Right.
And they're having success with it. The people who aren't having success are the Western countries who don't want to shut anything down because they don't want to slow the economy down.
You niggas is out here buying tissue.
Right? They don't want to slow the economy down. And so this is what Italy did. They didn't want to slow their economy down. And thus, they had identified it in one section of the country, right?
But
had they just quarantined that shit right then, which is why China did that. People were like, well, why are you quarantining the whole city? This is why they were quarantining the whole city. Because if you don't, people from that city, just like in any city, they're going to fly all over. They're going to drive all over.
Right.
And you may have only had it in this one spot. Now, within a matter of days, it's spread all over the place, which is what's happening now in Italy, which is why the whole country is on quarantine now.
But also that's happening in the United States with some of these preemptive, I guess. The
United States, we're handling it the worst of all.
Yeah, of course. Because it's in Seattle, it's in Florida, it's in Texas.
But we haven't shut any shit down. So
yeah.
If it's widespread in Seattle, which right now we can't even test everybody, so we don't know how.
I gotta get tested.
We have like almost 1,000. Last I checked, 975 cases confirmed. But that's with doing almost no testing.
Right.
So it's probably
that's a motherfucker going to the doctor sick.
Almost. And I would say 10 times. Like 10,000.
And in Italy, what happened was everybody in that section of the country that thought they were going to get quarantined, which they eventually did, they were leaving the city because they thought we were going to get locked down. I don't want to be locked down. I'm going to go to a different part of the country.
No, nigga.
And they took it everywhere else in the country.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's the same thing we're doing. Seattle and some other spots, New York.
Because the cat that's up the street, he came from California.
Yeah.
He was to Disneyland.
Yeah, he came from California. Now him, his wife, and his 3-year-old got the shit. It's fucked up about the 3-year-old, but it's like, so you kind of knew.
But that's not it. Here's the other. There's two more reasons why the so-called experts are worried. Okay, so in the U.S. we have 2.8 hospital beds per 1,000 people, right?
Right.
In Korea, Japan, they have 12 beds per 1,000 people. China had 4.5 per 1,000 people, right? So population of about 330 million. That works out to about 1 million beds.
Right.
On any given day, 68%, and this is just a regular non-corona day.
Right. there are days like that, people.
There's 68% of those beds are full, meaning you have capacity for about 300,000 beds, a little bit over that. Right. So because this is growing exponentially, they're charting that by the end of April, you're going to have 1 million cases in the U.S. Because it's going to double every 6 days. By May 7th, you're going to have 2 million. By May 13th, you're going to have 4 million. And what they're scared of is you're going to get very quickly to a point, because we're not doing any containment, you're going to get to a point very quickly where the hospitals get overrun. Not to mention we don't have enough protection equipment. We got 12 million what they call N95 masks, basically antiviral masks. Right. 18 million healthcare workers on any given day. Say 6 million of them are working, which is kind of an underestimate. Like, if you had a really intense day, you can blow through that in 2 days.
This shit ain't gonna work. This one.
At which point your healthcare workers start getting sick, which is again what happened in China. Right. Which lowers your capacity, and so it's not even necessarily. So it makes a already dangerous virus, because you have no immunity to it, more dangerous, because under ordinary circumstances, say one of us got it and we go into the hospital.
I'm African, I can't get it.
Yeah, he can't get it. But say a person gets it. We'll get to that in a second. Say a person gets it. Right now, you can go to the hospital, get antibiotics, blah, 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 blah. Depending on how fast you catch it, you're not going to be too bad off. Unless you're already in bad condition.
Yeah. Right.
But what happens when they literally can't see you because the hospitals are full, because they have so many cases?
Or you don't have insurance.
Right? Because when you look at what happened in Italy, the whole other thing about Italy is it seems like they have a different strain, which is much more dangerous. So like in China, 80% of the people who got it had a relatively mild reaction to it.
Right.
Out of the 20% that got it, 15% had to be hospitalized, 5% had to go to ICU.
What up, Alex?
In Italy, 50% of people who got it had to go to the hospital. 10% or 10 or 15% had to go to ICU. So that's
still a lot.
That's still a lot. So let's say that happened in the U.S. That immediately maxes out our hospital capacity. And so it's not even necessarily how bad the coronavirus is. If you have a virus that you have no immunity to, and you can't get treatment. Now, if you can get treatment like we just talked about, you're probably going to be fine.
Right. So my question is this, because speaking of Alex, he lives in Canada, right? Why ain't I heard no shit about Canada having this shit yet?
You going to?
Is it going to happen?
Yes. They're right next to us. They live next to the dumpster. Of course they're going to get rats.
Buffalo. Fucking Buffalo.
No, New York.
Buffalo, New York.
No, New York.
But it's not even just about corona people. Like, there's going to be people with chronic conditions, regular chronic conditions,
right?
Nothing to do with corona at all, who under normal circumstances would have been fine. They got to see a doctor. They'd have been good.
Won't be able to.
They're not going to be able to if the hospitals are maxed out.
Right.
Not to mention, we get most of our pharmaceuticals that are manufactured in China, and the precursors for those come from India. Right. A lot of them. Both China and India have shut down a lot of shit. They've shut down a lot of their pharmaceutical trade because they need that shit for themselves. Right. Not all of it, but a lot of it.
Right.
They're not shipping masks over here because they need that shit for themselves.
Yeah, right. You say you go to any store right now, them masks, them end caps and everything blown out. Ain't
Why
shit on
are
the
y'all
shelf.
buying tissue? Okay.
I need TP for my bungo.
I just haven't figured that part out yet.
Hey, look, you're gonna use it eventually. So.
I guess it's a good. That one, it keeps its value.
It maintains. It's like a Honda car. It's like a Honda.
Hey, with that, shit is gonna happen.
Literally. I see what you did there.
So that's what they're really worried about is the hospital system, which is already,
shaky.
Yeah,
being
maxed out, and not just corona people being in trouble from a health perspective, but people who have regular shit. What happens when 100% of the beds are full? You get in a fucking car accident and you're bleeding. Normally, ambulance takes you in. They give you a blood transfusion, stabilize.
Damn, we can't go.
You get there.
We can't go.
You're waiting.
And there's nowhere. Like in China, they were putting people on hospital beds in the hallways and shit like that.
But that one facility that they built real quick, that shit collapsed.
Yeah. Because they built it real quick.
They built that bitch in like a week, boy.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been. That whole sounded flimsy.
You can't get mad at them niggas.
No, I'm not mad, but that whole sounded flimsy. It looked like it was made with that fucking bed sheet over there. Like, just put that shit up.
Yeah.
Put some tent poles up and get this shit rocking.
So, but I say all that to say that is an angle they're looking at. They're looking at the trajectory, right? Yeah, it just started, so there's not a lot of cases, but they're looking at the rate. right?
Damn,
it's no different from
I gotta wipe out my Coronas again.
It's no different from if you were growing money. You know, there's always some finance guy. If you saved $100 for 10% interest, blah 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 blah. Like, yeah, that $100 looks small at first,
right.
But because of compounding, that's what finance is, right?
Compound interest.
They take advantage of that exponential curve. Like if I can keep compounding at this rate over and over, they know I'm going to double at a certain rate, and that's how the shit works in terms of investments.
All of a sudden, I'm doubling $1 million.
So the same way that a finance guy can sit and take your $100 investment and say, if I can get 10% on this for 20 years, you're going to have $1 million in 20 years.
Right.
They can look at it and say, we have 900 cases, 30 people dead this week. And
has 30 people died?
Yeah, total.
I thought it was 20
confirmed. We don't know the real numbers, but they're looking at that and they're seeing just like that finance guy seeing that $1 million in 20 years. They're seeing that million people in a month,
right?
And that is what they're panicked about. So, you know, it's not to say, look, panic doesn't do anybody any good, but also ill-informed complacency doesn't do anybody any good either. And so that's all. The only point I'm trying to make. I'm not saying go out and buy, you know, max your credit card out and buy a bunch of toilet
all
paper
that extra. Why are you buying tissue at an alarming level?
You know, do what you can do. You know,
need TP for my bungo.
Do what you can do. Wash your hands. Try not to touch your face, which is damn near impossible.
Nigga.
But I just wanted to bring some clarity to why behind this. Right? You don't lock down countries for no reason.
Right.
It's not a fun day.
What's that? Regardless of where you at, like, no, nigga, we locked down the country. This ain't about no extra money grab. This is like, no, we need to lock this shit down.
Yeah. So
and side note, so there has a shout out to Alex. There has been some cases in Canada. One confirmed death in British Columbia or BC. Yeah, sure.
British Columbia.
Yeah, and so I guess it's in Canada now. Hey, mates, it's two different.
So Resident Evil's coming to life, huh?
A little bit.
But here's
the Umbrella Corporation.
Is this the zombie apocalypse?
Now here's a second part of it.
White people, is it happening?
Here's the second part, and this part is probably gonna be
much
more.
What's her name? What's the lead actress name?
Oh, Laura Croft.
Lulu Dallas Multipass. What's her name? Mila
Kunis?
No, not
Mila Kunis.
You know what I'm talking about. Where's she at? She needs to save the fucking day.
Lulu Dallas. Lulu Dallas. That's her motherfucking name. That's what it is. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was saying the second part of this, and this is probably going to hurt more people than the health aspect of it, is going to be economically. The stock market's not crashing for no reason. Right? These niggas who work up there and make millions of dollars don't just
every day.
They're not just doing this for no reason.
That's what they do.
The stock market is basically they're projecting any number you see. They're projecting growth or projecting contraction when it goes up and down. Not necessarily on a daily basis until you get to some shit like this. But so that's why it's crashing, because this is what they call a demand shock, meaning people not going as much to restaurants. They're canceling festivals everywhere.
Right.
People aren't flying as much. Most companies have suspended business travel.
Yeah.
Like my wife travels for work a lot, and her company has already suspended business travel. When you travel on business, trust me, you spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right? You're spending on the airline, but when you travel on business, you really don't give a fuck what shit costs.
Right.
You're spending that
I got
money.
that per diem, baby.
I mean, you have, there's limits to the shit, but like.
But you're eating out damn near every day.
You're eating out. You're going right up to that per diem, whatever it is.
Right.
There's no reason to save this shit.
Yeah, it's like
I ain't never been to Fogo de Chao.
And so that keeps a lot of restaurants alive. Like most of us ain't going out to eat on Tuesday.
No.
But you know who does? Business people who are traveling in the city.
I'm in for the week, so
I'm here. I gotta be here. Might as well find something good to eat. So
how's your eel?
And so all that's these cruise companies. These cruise companies are gonna go out of business.
They already been faltering.
They have been.
They've been faltering ever since that cruise, which was the one I went on, and like 2 weeks later, that's when that bitch was stuck at Carnival Triumph. Like 2 weeks later, that's when that bitch went kaput. But yeah, like they're already to shit anyways.
Airlines are gonna struggle, but they're not gonna let them go out of business. They'll bail them out.
No, airlines.
When they doing that shit today?
Yeah, I don't think airlines would struggle in this kind of shit.
They're already struggling. They already cut
I seen a couple of people in the airport. It's like there's nobody here.
Yeah, like
normal day it's like there's nobody. In this
American Airlines cut their revenue forecast by like 50%.
What, for Q2 or for the?
They just like for right now, we ain't making no money. Like people are canceling or like I said, most travel is business travel. Like people don't go on vacation every day.
Right.
But business travel, like when I was traveling every fucking week. Right. Which is why I had to leave that job. But
damn, my pops just went to North Carolina today. Love you, Dad.
But there's people who do that every week. Right. Monday through Thursday, they on the road traveling somewhere for business. All that shut down. So yeah, the airlines are struggling. But it's gonna go even further. There's other shit going on. There's gonna be a lot of oil companies go out of business. It doesn't really relate to coronavirus.
But do you? Okay, when you say because when you say go out of business, that's a very dramatic step in a very short period of time, right?
Most companies don't have. They're like us. They're like
they're living paycheck to paycheck.
They're like big versions of us. Okay. Like you can't go forever without a job. Like if you lose your job, you make it for a little while, but a little while. It's like, and with these companies, they're paying thousands of people. Still got to pay insurance. You still got to pay for all your facilities. If you got these big ass cruise ships, you still have to pay for maintenance on them hoes. You know how much
niggas living paycheck to
paycheck.
You know how
much oil change is on a big.
You got to get a timing belt on that bitch.
You get a timing belt on the cruise.
You're like, nah, I don't need to change the air filter. We'll leave it in there.
Nah, we can make it 6 months more.
So, and so there's going to be a lot of businesses.
So why the air smell funny on this hoe?
So there's something like 20% of U.S. businesses are what they call zombie companies.
Okay.
Meaning you don't even make enough money to cover the interest on your debt. And so if you stop, and the only way they stay alive is if somebody lends them money. Right. Well, in conditions like this where banks know you're not making money, they're not going to lend. And it's like every economic downturn, the weak companies go out of business. Right. The strong ones will remain.
Of course.
But and then get a little help from the government too.
Yeah. So, but you have to think about it. Like they're taking drastic measures. Like today, I mean, I don't hate this proposal. It doesn't help, but I'll take it. But Trump floated the idea of removing the payroll tax to bring it to 0%, meaning no withholding, meaning you get whatever you paid. Right. Which
that would be everybody. Everybody loves.
Oh, trust me, I did the math today. I was like, now, that's not gonna help stop no virus. That's not gonna help stop no virus. But I was like, look,
we can use that for a little bit.
But the reason he's floating that is because they know as this thing spreads, there's going to be more shutdowns, there's going to be more economic slowdown, and there's going to be potential for layoffs, things along those lines. But and they know they're going to have to. And this is the funniest thing. And I'm about to write for this website about this pretty soon. But this coronavirus is really exposing America's weak safety net system. Okay. Right. So we look at all these other countries where you can just, like Korea, roll up, get a test, absolutely free.
Right. Right.
Whereas in America, it's so much. Not only do we not have enough tests,
so much red tape you got to go through.
Not even red tape.
Not even red tape
in your face.
It's half the people don't have insurance.
Right.
So like they're not going to. This is what we talked about like weeks ago. Yeah. They're not going to the doctor because they can't afford to go to the doctor.
That's it. It's get picked up in an ambulance if you want to. That shit is $1,000.
Listen, I have literally known people that are injured, that have health issues and all this other shit. Hey, do you want to ride in the ambulance? No. And they just drive themselves or somebody drive or something like that. Like, that is a fucking shame in itself. Yeah. Fuck coronavirus.
So everything, like, the emergency measures that they're proposing, everything that they're proposing, all the shit that they call socialist and we can't do it and we can't afford it because we got to buy $35 billion for a fucking F-35 we're never going to use.
Right. That just sitting out in the desert and shit.
But they're proposing to pay for all the tests as well as
these are proposals.
Yeah, they haven't. No pen has met paper.
Yeah. Somebody got to make a decision on this shit.
No pen has met paper. But they're proposing, obviously, paying for people's corona tests, also paying for any medical.
Doing the decent thing.
Yeah, paying for any medical bills associated with this shit.
I'm just a human.
And then also possibly giving people paid leave, right? Which is all the shit.
This is normal shit in other countries.
This is what I'm about to say. This is not. There's nobody is going ooh in Canada. They're like,
that's normal,
nigga. That was non-corona.
I'm telling you, because when we went out when we went to Miami last year, we met some people from Holland. I want to say Holland, And they was talking about boom, boom, boom. You know, I was like, we were like, oh, how you? Why are you out here? Stuff like that. It's like, oh, we're having a family reunion. Some of our people stay here, and they were literally traveling from California, like all the southern states, all the way to Florida, and then they were gonna go home. I was like, damn. It's like, how long y'all got? I was like, damn, y'all got a lot of vacation time to do that. And he's like, oh yeah, we get a month off. Like that's just. Yeah. Like, I was like, he looked at it. I was like, you take a month.
Side note,
pay month.
Like, back to Alex. Alex said the ambulance ride in Canada is $50. Okay.
Thousands.
If my legs broke, I can do that.
Yeah.
That's an expensive Uber. If I Uber from downtown,
that's all it is.
That's Uber in downtown. That's $50 right there.
See what I'm saying?
The black.
Get the black Uber.
All the way to the top level. Yeah. Man, look at this S5.
Please don't bleed my car.
Yeah. It was
he driving a Tesla.
They was just saying, he was like, yeah, we get a month off. Yeah. It's like that's just normal. Because we're looking, it's like, he was like, how much time y'all get out? I'm like, maybe a week.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
If you lucky, and that's
no, you gotta earn a week.
You gotta work earn that. You gotta earn. You gotta get up to that. It's not like they just. He's like, no, that's kind of what they give you out the gate, and you kind of rock with that. I was like,
I told y'all when I was in Singapore, I was talking to this lady and she was pregnant. It was one of the ladies I was working with. The bitch was upset because she was only getting 6 months maternity leave. I was like,
6 months maternity leave?
I was like, an American adult will never have 6 months off unless they are dying.
And they still gonna cut your shit in half.
Not only are you not getting 6 months maternity leave, when you take your kid to daycare, it's $2,000. God damn it, shit.
Because I was watching some show and they were actually kind of doing that shit, comparing the prices and stuff like that to, what do you think this is in America compared to your country? And like some of the prices that, I mean, how you said, whoa, to the what you call it?
Paid leave? Paid leave?
Like,
paid leave.
It was like, how much you think is, like you said, ambulance ride? And it was like, oh, it should be free, right? It was like, they were like, what the fuck? I was like, yeah, we kind of do got it fucked up over here.
They paid $14 for internet, and I'm the fucking thief. The Dictator, go watch it. It's a great movie.
That shit is crazy, man.
But
we're socialists.
Well, but here's the thing, like the basis of all these types of policies is that to truly have a healthy society, you have to have everybody at a certain fucking baseline, right?
Right.
The society has to actually be healthy.
Yeah, like you can't have a healthy society when half the people can't get health care. So if you have something like this, it's gonna spread faster because
they're not going to.
In other countries, they might be like, I'm not feeling too good. Let me just go in, take this
day off,
go into the free fucking doctor and get
treated, and I'll be back at work making money again and keeping the economy moving.
So, and we're the only country, at least rich country, that doesn't have this, and it is crazy. Well, and I always, and it's kind of a little bit beside the point, I don't believe in the socialist capitalist labels.
Right.
First of all, is public school socialist?
Yes.
I mean, it's nice to have a population of motherfuckers who can read at least, right? At least, like, just read the stop sign, right? Like, that there's a value to that, and it wasn't always there before we had public schools. How much do you benefit as a society, like if you're a businessman, from having a population where literally everybody can read? You go to somewhere like India or some of these other countries, that's not the case. Right. You can't always just find motherfuckers who have a baseline of I can read, I can do a little man.
And that's exactly what I was going to say. Like, America is the only country that I know of, correct me if I'm wrong if you're in a different country right now, that takes care of their poor, right? You know what I'm saying? Like the whole food stamps and Medicare and all that. They're the only country that does that.
No.
Well, okay. Well, then,
some countries don't even have homeless people.
They don't have homeless people, but they also ain't got lights.
Well, no. Like, for instance, when I went to Singapore, there's no homeless people.
Okay.
And the reason there's no homeless people is because they understand if I have certain people in a desperate situation, it's going to be more expensive overall for my population if I don't just take care of them, help them out, than if I do. Right? If I don't take care of them.
But here in America, they're called freeloaders.
This is why certain countries don't have crime. or I shouldn't say don't have crime,
but
have severely less crime.
Right.
Because if you don't let people get desperate, like fucking desperate,
right.
there's no reason to do violent crime. Of course, there's gonna be fraud. There's gonna be bullshit. But there's no reason for me to stick you up because I got enough to eat.
Right.
I may not be rich or nothing like that, but I'm not desperate.
Everybody eating.
Because like you said, the desperate part is the distincting difference. There's people that are poor. Like you, sometimes that you're going paycheck to paycheck, but you're not fucking desperate. But like, nigga, where I see somebody like, nigga, I'm finna get this motherfucker. I'm finna get him for all I got. Because that's a different mindset that you say that America kind of pushes a larger majority of people into where, like, dog, I gotta get. That's one of the phrases you get. I gotta get it how I live.
Right.
Nigga, I live in desperately. I'm gonna do desperate things.
Well, I do think that people are classified in so many different categories that you have the desperation.
But that's one of the things that he talks about with the labels. You said you can't. You put people in these brackets and you push people towards them to where, well, shit, if you call me desperate, I'm gonna act desperate then.
Right. Based on what you're showing.
Yeah.
Because what you're showing.
And regardless, why are we even comparing?
Like
we claim to be the richest country in the world. Why are we even comparing ourselves to like some third world? Like why? Like if you are quote unquote the richest country in the world, think about this. If you
fucking Ponzi
if you were to
scheme.
say you were the richest person in your neighborhood, that means you should be able to afford more stuff than everybody else in your neighborhood.
Right.
Say you never get your grass cut, right? And you tell me, I don't have the money. Well, I thought you were the richest dude in the neighborhood. Everybody else got their grass cut, and we're relatively to you poorer than you. We make less money than you, but we get our grass cut and you don't.
Right.
What's going on here?
Yeah, but I'm eating steaks and you eating motherfucking hot dogs.
So, but
beef hot dogs.
But my main point is this is highlighting. My main point is this is highlighting that very fact that because our society, and I shouldn't say society because it's not like people want it this way.
Right.
We don't want it this way. Most people don't want it to work this way. We just don't really have a way to change it.
Right.
And the people who do have the power to change it don't
give a fuck.
They don't give a fuck.
Yeah, they got that check.
I don't even like saying society because it makes it sound like we're heartless. Like we're not heartless.
It's 256 ass.
Just like I don't say we when we go to war with somebody. I don't want to bomb the motherfuckers.
Right.
Yeah.
And most of the time when we go to war, most of the country is against it.
Ain't no Viet Cong ever called me nigga. Shout out to Muhammad Ali.
So, but because of the way our country is set up, we're going to suffer this particularly worse than some other countries where everybody's taken care of, at least on that health tip, where they can get treatment when they need it. But now it's just funny to me that they're now proposing as an emergency measure all the shit that people have been asking for.
Shout out to Bernie.
Free family medical.
Yeah. Bernie Sanders been running this whole campaign.
And they about to boot his ass out of the fucking
he about it
tonight.
Hey, because it is Super Tuesday again for a few other states.
Yeah.
But I saw from this past
weekend.
Sweep
the leg.
When I saw from this past weekend, it was like, I will make sure that everybody has free coronavirus vaccination. I was like, yeah, nigga, you gone.
But think about how handy. Think about how handy free medical leave would be right now.
Right.
Man.
Where if you get sick, you're not worried I'm gonna lose my job.
Right.
Because by law, my company has to give me at least until I get well.
Right.
And you're not worried about losing your income, right? Because you're gonna get paid during that time that you're sick. You don't have to worry about paying for the doctor or paying for the vaccine or whatever the hell you need.
Oh, we still have to worry about that. And generation, and the thing is, that shit don't seem like it's finna change for a few, at least tangent.
Why would it?
We had our chance
because the top niggas is making too much money.
Yeah, why would it?
They were never gonna let Bernie get in, like, and he had the people behind him, but they ran. Basically, it was the whole field against Bernie.
Yeah,
and all of them were attacking him, doing all that kind of stuff. And now, of course, they've all endorsed Biden.
Because he was gonna blow up the system.
Yeah, so.
Like I said, we
and
were
they're paid by the
because we were watching that shit last week, and this motherfucker he was like, "White people talk about revolution." He was like, "I was like, yeah, that Bernie ain't gonna make it. He ain't gonna make it."
The revolution
it sounds like
televised.
like I said, it's back to status quo. Like I was saying when we were talking earlier, it's like it's just another old white man against another old white man. I know Bernie is an old white man too, but he had, quote unquote, here for America, he had radical ideas, which was just being
he had ideas to make motherfuckers think.
Commonly nice to your fellow human being. Like, oh, you're sick and I got a lot of money. Let me help you out.
Right.
So you're not sick. And then you're wondering why there's a drag on the economy because this dude is sick. Like, you still, even if somebody dies, you still got to bury him, this, that, and it's still going to cost money. Yeah. So why not keep him healthy?
It also raises the cost for everybody who does have insurance.
Right.
If I go into the emergency room, don't have insurance, by law, they still have to treat me.
Somebody
they can't just let me sit there and die. But so but now a guy with insurance comes in, and now I'm going to charge you, a bit more to make up for the cost that I'm losing for half the population who's running in here, and they only come when it's already bad, right? Because you're not gonna go to the emergency room with a cough.
Because most people insurance, if you don't even look at your insurance paperwork, your preventative measures is always free. Your physicals and shit like that.
I get
free.
that shit every year.
But I'm talking about people who don't have it, who don't have anything. Right. They're not gonna come in until they're really fucked up, which means they're gonna have to spend even more than you would have if you had at least had preventative care for them, where they can come in. I got a little cough. All right, well, let me give you something right now.
Man, I've been having this pain in my side, and you don't know that your fucking kidney is failing.
Yeah.
Until your kidney actually fails.
Yeah. Right. Now we have to do a $60,000 surgery on you that you can't pay for, but everybody else is going to pay for.
Right.
Whereas if we all had it, okay, your shit is paid for, and that doesn't have to be spread across to everybody else.
But and maybe we don't know this answer
common
right this second.
Ain't too common.
Well, maybe we don't know this answer, but where does the money come from to be able to do that? Because let America tell you got to take money from something to put it in some.
First of all, we're wasting money on so much. Why can't we take it from somewhere else and do it? Like, Canada is paying for this. Canada is paying for this. Like, why can't we do that? Like, we just passed $800 billion for Space Force.
Appreciate that, Brian.
$800 billion for space to build bombs in space. You know how fucked up it is going to be bombing niggas from space? Why are we doing that? Why do we need that?
Nigga, where you at? Jupiter, nigga.
The military. Like, what's the number up to? Like five guns to one person, some crazy shit like that at this point. I'm not saying trust me, I like guns. Yeah.
Don't you talk about us.
I like guns. But, dog, where's the cap?
Yeah.
Where's the cap?
All it is priorities.
I don't know.
They don't want to say it. They're going to try to scare you with socialism and this why, and to get you to vote against your own interests. But it's just priorities. That's it.
Socialism isn't a real American thing.
It's not. Here's my thing.
Yeah. I keep getting them.
We haven't went on nothing else.
My point is, I get because people fall into the trap that they're laying for you. Right. They want to demonize this thing, and by putting a label on it. That's why I say I don't even deal in labels. I deal in ideas.
Okay.
Is it a good idea?
Right.
Is it what are your outcomes going to be versus what you had to put into it? Is how I evaluate it. Like I said, is public school socialist? Is public water socialist?
Yes.
Or public street? Any of you motherfuckers paid for these? Now, actually here in Dallas, we do pay for a lot of these streets.
All that shit.
But in general, most of the streets are free. That's socialist. We're paying for it collectively, but we all get the benefit
of being able to get to work,
right? and so
now George Bush told way.
But just because you have what you could describe as, if you want to, but you could describe it you can describe it as a co-op, like however you want it. Socialist is because they're trying to tie it to communism, right? And say, oh, if you do this, if you do this, the gulag is next.
And then when they go to communism, you want to be like the Soviet Union or a Nazi or something. Like, come on, you're going to the extreme.
And but there's no government that is purely one thing. There's no government that's purely capitalist. There's no government that's purely socialist or communist or any other nist you wanna add in there. There's all a mix of shit. Yeah, on some shit
it's more heavier, leaning one way.
We don't necessarily let the government, build toys and shit for us and shit like that. That's going all the way to.
It's going to Santa Claus.
But you do let them run public schools because it's good for everybody to be able to fucking read.
Right.
And if you did, before we had a public school system, only people who went to school were people who could pay to go to school. Mm-hmm. So if you couldn't pay, you couldn't read. Just like with healthcare. Right. If you can't pay for it, you can't get it. And that wasn't a good way to run a society.
No, motherfuckers were dying.
And it's better for the rich people because you have people you can hire. Right. Everybody who comes through my doors can read. Are you fucking serious? You know how much they would pay for that in Bangladesh?
At the very least, they can fucking read.
At the very least, they can read. They can add up to like 10. Like, there's value in that. There's value in that.
There is value in that.
Damn. So my point is only
Jamal on a fucking tangent. I love it.
Judge the program.
Let him go.
Judge the program and don't make it seem like, oh, if we put in this one fucking program, it turns the whole country into something different.
Right.
But second of all, like I said, that's why I say we run on fear. Like this country is run on fear.
It's very reactionary.
Because like what you're saying, like, it's that a good idea? If somebody presented to you like that, like you said, most people like, oh, that's a good idea.
It polls at like 80%.
Yeah, but when you
frame it the right way.
But when you frame it as when you put like you said, these tag words on it to get people to react.
Yeah.
And then it runs. That's my whole thing. That's that fear. That shit that they pay millions of dollars for these think tanks and shit like that to be able to do that shit. Like, oh, it could be a good idea, but if we frame it like this, it'll get our base to react this way, and then that shit'll spread out. And
just think about it.
And it'll kill it before it even gets started.
Mm-hmm. I mean, just think about it. If you're a CEO of an insurance company, you think you're going to let them... Like, you're going to fight to the death.
Of course.
To stop Medicare for all.
And if it passes, you're going to shoot yourself in your head. That's what the fuck they do.
I mean,
that's what the fuck they do. He's going to get a golden parachute.
Yeah, he's going to parachute down with his $100 million.
Yeah, he'll
probably shoot himself in the head on the way down.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
This is fucking too slow.
Shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, exactly. Like, that's how that shit go. But yeah, you got the CEOs. So yeah, everybody is fighting against everybody, but no one is saying like, hey, y'all are people. Like
there's drugs here that cost $2,200, cost $30 in Canada because they.
But anybody that says let's unite, they usually kill or get the.
They got to
put a child molester case or some shit like that.
Yeah, and I use this example when
they try to get Bob Saget today.
Bob Saget almost got got.
With what?
With some shit, they put the wrong Bob and they put Saget on them. They trying to say Bob Saget was raping kids.
Oh no, not Full House.
Not
sucking dick for coke. Anyway, I
seen
it. Boo this man.
But you know, like when you like for example. One thing that I got pissed off about, right? Like, you know, for several years, my son would get sick around this time frame, right? The December through February time frame, he would get sick. You know, and normally it would just be allergies, but then it'll turn into something different. But you know, and so it was maybe I think like 2 years ago, right? And normally I just chalked it up to, okay, he's just a kid, his immune system ain't what it is. You know, he was vaccinated and shit like that, which, you know, it is what it is.
Pumping full of them drugs.
Yeah, it is what it is. Like, ask me on a different day, I may say vaccination is great. Ask me on another day, vaccination is the worst thing you can do, right? So you know, he's vaccinated and all this other shit. So I'm thinking,
wiping off my corona.
This is pretty much what the shit is, right? And so, but the last time he actually got sick, I had to buy some Tamiflu. And the Tamiflu was like $65.
Yeah.
And this ain't penicillin. The penicillin was $4.50, and you get to pick a flavor.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's fucking horrible, right? And so from that, I was like, you get $65 for this same shit that I think you got last year. Okay, now we finna figure this shit out right now. He sneezes now. This motherfucker getting some crackers and some
It's
Sprite.
so bad because, you know, in Canada and Mexico they get these drugs for like way cheaper. Like
that's why they run the borderline.
There was literally, I was watching a news report a few days ago. There was literally an insurance company. It's a smaller one, but it will pay for you to fly or drive, however you get down there, to Mexico to buy the drugs there, because even with paying the
airfare and all,
even with paying the travel costs and all
cheaper.
That shit, it's still cheaper for them to have them go down there. So they literally are paying people to travel down to Mexico, buy the drugs that they need, and come back, and the insurance company will reimburse them for all that shit.
Shout out to Magic
And it's
Johnson.
still cheaper than what they could just buy it from.
Wow. Shout out to Ron Mexico.
And shout out to Ron Mexico. Shout out to Magic Johnson. Like these guys have showed us the way. I had to do it one time at least.
Because that's the funny thing about this is probably about 5 years ago. We was in Cabo, and Adderall. You get prescription for Adderall. It's whatever here. We were down there we was in the store. We were just getting some sodas and stuff like that. And a dude walked in there, and white boy, this dude was high off his ass. He looked at us. He's like, hey, you want to split a 20 on me and go half on this Adderall with me? I was like, no. But I was like, damn, it's only $20. Dog, I could hit a fucking my like you said, drug dealer mind kicks in. Like, damn, I can hit a lick. I got $70 in my pocket. I can get a lick.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
How much is it? $20 a pill?
Yeah, it's not even illegal.
Yeah, it's not even illegal. Hell no. Hey, officer, you want some Adderall?
Yeah, for a point 0.2 seconds, I was like, yeah, let me go and get Jesus. I was rocking in my Air Forces for a hot second.
Can I get 300 Adderall? Milligrams? No, pills.
Shit.
I was like,
I got to put them back in this thing right here? Okay, so it ain't going to go on the scanner? It ain't? Are you sure?
yeah, just put them in a bag.
You can let them see the
vitamins.
scammer. It's Adderall.
Yeah, they're vitamins.
I'm nervous.
Yeah. It makes me focus.
All right, so let me ask you this question. Okay, so with, all bullshit aside, does Corona have legs to go past 2020?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I would say
I mean,
it's been had legs. No, it's on the back of this. It's been had legs. This motherfucker been around.
So in order for it to get to where like the flu is, the flu has what they call herd immunity, meaning there's so many people that have it that it'll spread, but it's not gonna it's not gonna be an epidemic.
At some point, everybody had a flu shot. At some point,
it's not even a flu shot.
Right.
I mean, the flu is as good as it's better than the flu shot. Really, if you get the actual flu. It's better than getting the flu shot.
It sucks for that.
I'm not saying get the flu, y'all. I'm just saying
it's just you
build
up a better immunity to it.
I had the flu twice, and 2 times I done got the flu shot. Every time I haven't gotten, I ain't got that in my mouth.
I haven't got a flu shot since I've had to get a flu shot.
Yeah. Once I was out of the mandatory shit, I stopped doing it. But no, I mean. Shit, my mom's a nurse, and she was the one who told me. She was like, nigga, don't. She was like, they don't really test that shit. Like when the flu comes out, like there'll be a different strand, and then oh, we gotta come up with a vaccine, and 2 weeks later they have a vaccine. She's like, nigga, you can't test that in 2 weeks. So she's like,
there's no time.
So it doesn't necessarily mean there's something wrong with it,
but it could be.
Yeah, but there could be. But beyond all that. So basically what I was saying was it has to get to at least 75% of your population that has immunity to get to that flu level where it can be in your population, but it's not devastating. It gets capped. It's not just spreading to every fucking body because most people have some type of immunity to it. We don't have any
Shout out to
immunity
me.
to that. So even if it went away in the summer like the flu does, it'll probably come back next fall and possibly even possibly the worst.
Well, would it be? But it's
because this is a virus.
Let me put my immunity cap on.
But this is a virus that actually mutates, so it's likely next year if it comes back
to be something different.
Yeah, at least slightly different, at least. But yeah, Africans ain't been getting the shit.
Bullshit. They ain't released nothing.
Look,
that's bullshit.
Jesus is coming for his people.
He may be African, but
Jesus is coming for his people.
I'm first
just gotta get all this.
I'm first generation. I still have my parents were born on the motherland. That's where my immunity is from.
But you was born in Texas.
I was born in Texas. I'm allergic to everything in fucking Texas. I went and got tested for that. And I know that.
This nigga ain't from around here.
No bullshit. I've said this shit on the show before. I went and there's 48 different strands of stuff they test you for were allergy stuff. I was allergic to 35 of them.
God damn. You allergic to air?
Basically.
Okay.
You like this dirty ass American hair? Yeah. We used to
There
have wide
was
open
one- there was
Serengeti
one-
hair, nigga.
There was one on my arm because they did it on my arm, not on my back. Thank God, because my back would have been itching all fucking day. But they did it on my arm, and one of them, it whelped up. It was probably the size of a quarter.
Hey, mama.
It was like that big, the
Yeah.
whelp. And the dude, I'm looking at it. I was like, okay, I know I'm fucking allergic to that. Whatever the fuck that is. And the dude was like, yeah, that's the biggest reaction I've ever seen in my line. I was like, I don't know if you're supposed to be telling me that. So I was like, I was about to ask him, like, nigga, you about to take a picture of this shit or something? Like, are we documenting this? He's like, nah, that's the biggest one. I was like, phrasing too with that. But it's like, but I was like, oh, but there was other ones that were smaller. So I was like, looking at it, I was like, oh, that ain't no reaction to nothing. And then he was like, nah, you're allergic to all this shit. Basically. He was like, yeah, there's probably about 7 that you're not allergic to. Everything else, about 7 to 12, and everything else you're allergic to. Any type of grass that we had out here, I was allergic to.
Every time
But that was why I remember, like, as a kid, I used to fall in the grass. I always used to wonder why I used to itch so much, like really bad.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, it makes sense now.
Well, we got another one. Lacidra, she says she get the flu every time she take the flu shot, and I've gotten it one time without it, and it sucks. All right, well, then there's that.
Man, stop getting that flu shot.
Stop getting that flu shot.
Like, especially if you've had the flu.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, there's really no fucking reason then. Like, you already got that shit.
Then you got another thing, and this is something that I talked about too beforehand. Shout out to Kiera. My immunity comes from being breastfed by my mother. I've never had a flu shot, and I'm very healthy.
I was breastfed too.
Yeah, me too.
Mama, was I breastfed? Mama, since you're on there, was I breastfed? I don't know.
If you don't know, then the answer's no.
I wasn't. We don't have.
You remember sucking the
Y'all remember sucking a titty?
Yes, I do.
When I was like a year?
Yeah, she was feeding your ass Jello, nigga.
It's
got vitamin C.
Y'all better stop talking about my mama. Y'all know I stay strapped.
It's got vitamin C in it.
Motherfucking Jello, baby.
I know I was. My mom used to tell me, like, yeah, you used to always, what I say, ta-ta. That's what I would call it. Mm-hmm. Give me ta-ta.
It's time.
It's ta-ta.
But you know, and that's another thing too. Like, and you know, that's perfect timing. Shout out to my mom. She said this shit not too long ago. She was like, yeah, the trick is they told you that cow's milk was better than breast milk.
Man,
I mean that's some real life shit, right?
I've
literally
stopped drinking.
I stopped drinking, and I used to be a heavy milk drinker. I used to love milk.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I stopped drinking that shit. That's not for people.
Yeah,
yes, and I was breastfed. My mama just said it.
Well, that's what's up.
All right,
thank you, mama.
there we go.
Yeah, there we is.
But
get on the train.
Drinking milk. I don't think they had Similac back in them days, maybe.
I'm pretty sure they did.
Nah, they had it.
It's just,
but like women, and I know, and it's hard for a guy to say because
that's not,
because I know it's not like easy. Like I know it's like
it's
pain
a process. Yeah, it hurts.
But breastfeed your babies, like
Please,
it makes them
if
much.
you can, because
we don't have a choice in the matter.
It makes it much easier. I mean, not much easier, but much healthier, and they get your immunity, your immune system through that breast milk. And
it's actually the healthiest way to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It has to be the healthy way because it's just a natural thing.
Yeah, it's the actual way you're supposed to feed. Like that's like you said, the natural way to do it.
Like every other animal drinks that same animal's milk.
Yeah, they ain't coming to humans like, can I get some titty milk?
Can I get some tata?
Tata.
But yeah, so yeah.
Hey man, I knew what I wanted.
What you call him now? A milk blouse? He ain't my shit. So, but coronavirus again. I don't.
We went on a full hour tangent on this.
You see, I even stopped even trying to watch it. But nevertheless, I don't think it's gonna last past the summer.
What are you basing that on?
I'm basing that on.
you know he's done his research.
Hey,
you know he's done his research.
I'm basing it on the wind going to the west.
All right. As long as
you
you
know.
know.
It's just not gonna happen.
This is what I would say. It's funny how And it's not even election year. It's funny how this shit
Mama,
kind
go
of
to
just
sleep.
goes like with swine flu and all these other things that we kind of got a hysteria for.
But all those we had an immunity to. Those are different forms of the influenza.
This is true.
But
it's still...
Which is why they came up with a vaccine so fast.
And, well, I guess that's why it's taking so long for motherfuckers to try.
Yeah, this is some shit they don't have any...
But this is the thing is, how do they not... And this shit's actually been on our disinfectant and wipes and stuff like that for years. So you would think...
It's been there.
You know, somebody... Hey, if we don't have... Somebody just, you know, me thinking outside the box... Scientists be like, hey, why don't I try to cure that? And just go off and try to get my research money and shit for that. And I come up and, hey, I'm the man now.
Chris Rock said it best. The money is in the medicine, not the cure.
No, even the vaccine. Yeah. Why somebody say, oh, why don't I try to make a vaccine for this?
All the pharmaceutical companies, they're trying.
Now?
Oh,
yeah.
I'm just saying it's been known, so where was that brainiac dude be like,
man,
hey,
they got that shit. Man,
look,
they out in their back.
They out here making Levitra and shit that make you anal leak and all that kind of bullshit. So I mean, you know,
that is one of the side effects.
And they gonna watch
the commercials. He does.
That's my favorite part of those commercials when they start with the side effects.
The side effects go longer than the benefits. Every single
But they
time.
do it to cheery music with people smiling and shit.
And they do that. And why you think that I always get a speed reader to say that shit?
They get the Hot Wheels dude.
Like, they just run through that like, did y'all not catch that shit?
Could cause suicidal thoughts or death.
Like, what?
Take this pill for suicide. It could cause suicide.
I was depressed, but the medicine I'm finna take is gonna give me suicide thoughts. I'm depressed already.
What the fuck?
But all of them fucking shooters, they always found to have antidepressants. You know what I'm saying? So,
of course.
So they were depressed before, but now they fucking homicidal and suicidal. Yeah.
They just say fuck it at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck it.
We gotta go into sports though. We do gotta go into sports.
We can talk about sports.
Why? There ain't nothing in sports to talk about.
Yeah, it is.
NFL.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Hey, say man,
go ahead.
Don't be mad.
Go ahead.
Hit what the button? Hit the button.
Oh, I got the video too. I got the video. The video's gonna play. Y'all can't hear it, but the video's gonna play.
We gotta talk about sports.
Okay, what we got on sports? We
gotta have a
baseball. The Astros. What's going on?
No. Fuck them. They getting plunked every. They getting plunked every motherfucking what you call it.
Swimming, tennis, golf.
I just wanna, cause as a Lake Show fan, I just wanna. Hey, my bet with him is complete.
You have to give him his due. You got to.
My bet is hey, I paid my dues.
Can I make a statement on that?
Oh, let me boast for a little. I can't boast this weekend because this was the weekend. Shit was supposed to hit the fan and motherfuckers ain't won no games against no real contender team and all that good shit. Am I saying LeBron's finna win the fucking MVP and they're gonna go win the title and all? No, I'm not gonna say that. I'm just saying this was a good fucking weekend for the Lake Show.
It was.
That's where I'm basing my shit off of. I'm not one of these, and I get it. There's a lot of Laker fans and they're fucking hysterical fans and they get on a lot of people's nerves.
They do.
Y'all do.
I am not one of those.
No, you're not as irritating as the rest of them.
But I can be irritating when a point is proven. And I'm just saying, this was a good fucking weekend for my fucking team. Hey, I like Mean Mug LeBron.
Yeah, get all your wins in the regular season. Go ahead.
No, we needed it. You said we weren't gonna make it to the playoffs.
No. So
5 seed.
So I will say this. Well, I got something on the 5 seed thing, but I will say this about the Lakers because, and I've said this on the podcast before, it's important to admit when you're wrong. You can't be Skip Bayless and just dig in
and double down.
Is it my turn to talk now?
And double
my guy.
And that was
my guy.
And that was the only reason I tuned in Monday.
Oh, of course.
Because
of course,
you know,
as much as I love them as characters, that shit gets redundant.
It's very redundant.
But I tuned in that day because I knew right off rip Shannon was going for his neck, and I just wanted to see Skip skip, stumble.
That nigga had backwoods, Hennessy,
and then
pancake.
go down to the minutest of motherfucking subtleties of the game.
He
really,
didn't even shake anyone's hand after the game.
Yeah, type shit. I was like, Skip, when you going that deep, nobody really gives a fuck.
No one cares. Hey, on the cool, I started watching it as soon as Skip Turner was talking. Cut it off. I was like, this shit.
But like I said, it's important to admit when you're wrong. I was wrong on the Lakers, and everything that I said, all the reasons, I felt like there were good reasons, but all the reasons that I said that I didn't believe in them, they proved me wrong. Number one reason I said I didn't think they would play defense because I didn't think LeBron would play defense. They played fucking defense.
Nigga been playing some defense.
They played some fucking. You can't like the.
They're one of the longest team in the league. When all them dudes.
They play defense. LeBron still takes his moments, but when
he's 30,
but he's much more engaged than he was last year.
This is true. I will admit. Yes.
Yeah.
There was times last year when Kyle Kuzma has to push you. To go play defense, nigga, you are not paying no fucking attention on this side of the court. I even looked at it like, yeah, LeBron, that's not a good look, my nigga.
so I got to give credit to Frank Vogel, who I didn't think could inspire them to do that, as well as their coaching staff and their players, because their players had to actually do it.
And they bought in.
And even their little trash players, their little Avery Bradleys, like them cats getting out there.
But that's one of the reasons why they brought him in was to play defense.
Avery Bradley's had one good game this whole year.
No, he has not.
Well, and then now
have you watched that? I've watched damn near every game.
So that was the first point I was wrong on. They wouldn't play defense. They have played defense, and they played good defense. Good team defense.
Might have the defensive player. AD.
No, I would give it to Dwight Howard before I gave it to AD.
No. Dwight Howard don't play enough minutes to.
That's true.
Yeah,
but that was.
I mean, they'll probably give it to AD. I mean,
that was the thing.
That's why you go to the Lakers, so you can win awards.
At the beginning of the year, that was another thing with Dwight. I was like, he was like, he had to buy in. He bought in.
The reason I wouldn't give it to AD and whatever people say what they want. Like the on-off numbers with him and LeBron are like ridiculous. Like
that is true, but his defense doesn't.
I'm not saying his deep, but I'm saying if you're losing the minutes with him,
I get what you're saying. No,
it's like that's not the case.
That shit is fucking drastic. Yeah. When LeBron is off.
So I mean, which doesn't matter in the playoffs.
Outside of this fucking weekend.
Yeah, which doesn't matter in the playoffs. They'll pretty much always be together in the important minutes. So whatever. But I'm just saying, when you're doing awards, you got to split hairs because there's a lot of great players.
Right.
But I wouldn't be surprised if he got it. But anyway,
Giannis will probably. Well, no, not Giannis.
Nah, they gonna give Giannis.
He gonna get the MVP.
They gonna give him one of them. If he don't get the MVP, they gonna give him the other one. Yeah. But anyway, they have played defense, which I didn't think they would do. And then the second part is they have a lot of guys who have had a lot of injury issues. Not LeBron. I mean, LeBron had the 1 year thing, but whatever. That's 1 year. A lot of the other guys, Dwight Howard, Avery Bradley, Rondo.
Been in and out.
Even Danny Green has had his. He don't miss a year. But he always has something where he misses 20 games, 15 games, whatever. And he also has these slumps, which I don't know. Maybe he's going through one or not. I haven't paid enough attention. But they've been healthy,
relatively.
Like I would have never thought Dwight Howard would make it through 60 fucking games.
But this is he doesn't play.
But he wasn't playing. He wasn't playing that much in Washington though, and it was still getting fucked up.
But that was off the year before where he was in Charlotte, where he did play a lot of minutes because he was the starting center.
Did, but it's kind of like the Steph Curry thing. When Steph Curry injured his wrist and nigga missed like 60 games, like that kind of thing.
Yeah. So it was kind of, and then go ahead.
But they have a lot of guys who are like that on their team in terms of their past. And I was like, I don't think, and they're very thin. They're still thin, but they're thin in a way that if you don't have any injuries, they're good enough to do some things. But if you had one injury, it could cascade, but they don't have no fucking injuries, so it doesn't matter. Just like I was saying, the minutes with AD only on the floor don't matter because in the playoffs you're not gonna have you're gonna have like 6 minutes like that.
Right.
So that's more of a regular season thing, but. I was wrong on that. So they stayed healthy. They played defense, and their coach has been good.
But he's good.
I like Vogel, but I didn't consider him like a.
I wouldn't say he was like an elite coach, but he's a good coach.
This is why I'm saying it. He makes good adjustments, which I wasn't like. In Indiana, now he was overmatched. He had the LeBron teams, whatever. Mm-hmm. He wasn't gonna win those regardless.
Right. Not with Hibbert. At the
and his
center.
his teams in Indiana, they were good, but they were what they were. Mm-hmm. You couldn't really.
He basically maxed out their talent.
Well, you were going up against the
LeBron. But when the Pelicans, my team, when we played them, that's when I got respect for Vogel because he had his plan was so fucking good that I was like, this is not a mistake. This is not just like what they did.
The first game?
The first thing they did was like, JJ Redick, we're going to make you disappear. Bye-bye.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Oh, we're not helping off of you.
Yeah, you're done. Goodbye. Mm-hmm. And they blitzed him every time he would get the ball. They were treating him like
touching him.
Like people treat Dame or some shit where they just blitz him, trying to get the ball out of his hands.
They touching him.
And it threw him off because a shooter, if you don't get no shots up, you're not going to. What are you
doing? It's not like you got him on the floor for defense.
Mm-hmm. Because the way the Pels play, they play fast, and then they're going to suck everything into the paint and kick it out to Ingram or Redick or whoever the hell is out there to shoot a three hard.
Shit, even Lonzo, because that nigga found his shot.
Yeah, Lonzo's balling.
No, he don't do that. He don't do that no more.
I told you I played with y'all.
But so few teams, and we've played a lot. Obviously, you play NBA schedule, you play a lot of teams. So few teams have figured out that Redick is kind of like the little linchpin of like he's what makes it devastating when you're just getting beat up inside, and then all of a sudden,
you can find him in the
like
corner.
A top 10 shooter comes off the fucking bench and just nailing threes on your ass.
He going 43%.
Vogel figured that shit out immediately, and I was texting him because I'm in that little writing group I write for one of the Pels blogs, and we were like, ooh. Because the Pels, if people don't know this probably, but they like 2 or 3 in the league in 3-pointers. Vogel figured out immediately, if I take away their threes, they're going to eat inside, but you're not going to beat us with twos.
Right.
Especially because the Lakers' strength is on the inside. Right. So
that's where that length comes in.
So, I mean, the Pels still scored. They still did their thing, but they were less efficient. And at the end of the game,
but that's because more or less, I'm sorry to cut you off, with y'all fucking tempo. Y'all tempo is fucking insane.
That shit is
That's why it's always special because the Lakers play at a tempo, but a lot of those tempo points, quote unquote tempo points, are that fucking length throw with LeBron, the AD fucking Snowburden or whatever, or whoever long go. I'm gonna hit you.
Yeah,
and that counts as fast tempo points. But go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a stat for this, but the Pels get more points. They have to get the most points in the league off of celebrations. Like if a nigga dunks on them, it's like
nigga.
Bucket.
As soon as, the last time we played, it was like
doing that bullshit.
It was like somebody dunked. I forget. I think it was Caldwell Pope. And everybody kind of does, after you get a big dunk, everybody kind of laxes. And I mean, as soon as anybody laxed, it was ball out. They threw it to Lonzo. Lonzo threw it long, and it was a layup or a dunk on the other end. I was like, yeah, you can't lax.
Yeah. So, but the other thing Vogel did, and this is again, I gain respect for him, and it's not just over one game because we played him a few times, and he realized
4 times
a good coach realizes where his major advantages are and exploits it until you stop it.
Yeah.
And so LeBron was just in the post the whole fucking game.
Oh,
he realized
y'all was single covering him with
the Pels have
Hart and what's your other
they
boy?
have good defenders out there, but nobody who's as big and strong as LeBron. If you put Ingram on him, that's a bucket.
He's just too light.
He's just gonna put his ass on him and take you right to the rack. Holiday is a good defender, but he's too small.
Let me get that Drew Holiday
Hart, Hart. I mean, Holiday shouldn't even be guarding him, really.
Yeah, but Holiday and Hart were trying to guard him. It was just like
they were doing their best, but
they were just like, we're just whatever we were running before. Yeah, just stop that, cancel that. Opposite block, get this hoe in, and then whatever. LeBron's gonna make a bucket off of. If you run somebody at him, or if it's just single coverage, I'm gonna take it right to the rim.
But it was like teams like playing like Kyler Murray when he was in high school. It's like you can have the better overall team, like the other positions, if you want. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does.
It doesn't matter because
I got another one.
We got the one guy who trumps all that. So I gotta give credit where it's due. I was wrong.
Thank you. That's all I wanted.
Now, 1 30-second thing on the Pels. So the Pels started 6-22. They had a lot of injuries. Ingram was out. Lonzo was out. Zion hadn't even played.
Well, I told you from the jump, Lonzo was that goddamn that motherfucker gonna make shit happen.
Yeah. Since then, they've been on a 53-win pace since starting 6-22. Currently in the 9 seed when they were dead last in the West. Had they been healthy, that would put them right in that 4-5 range right there. Just saying, I still lose a bet. Fair and square. I'm just saying.
Hey, analytical guy. Nobody gives a shit.
I'm just saying.
That's the only thing that I was worried about. Like, nigga, you finna lose.
I'm just saying. It's not like I looked at.
Know, but your phone got 2 dingers. Ding ding. That when the season is over.
I'm gonna tell y'all 2 games y'all need to watch though. Memphis, New Orleans. They got 2 games coming up and probably about.
Y'all in the 9, right? Y'all
we're in the 9 spot.
But y'all like a game behind them.
We're like.
4. I thought it was 4.
It goes by the night. It's like 3.
Because I'm in the lost.
It depends on
literally in the lost column.
Yeah, it depends on what happened. I haven't seen Memphis game tonight, but whatever happened, if Memphis lost tonight, then they're 3 back, and they play them 2 times in like the next 2 weeks.
Because Memphis is still they're literally 500.
Yeah,
shout out to that league pass.
Yeah, my man. I sat there and watched Memphis play.
They played us. Shit, not that. And I'm like,
we get that regardless. Who the hell were they playing? They were playing somebody West Coast, and John Morant was like, I was like, this nigga's a rookie. I was like, he was just. I was like, we've been like. You was late to that.
No, I don't do the college thing. Like,
shut the.
I don't do
where you think you project some of these motherfuckers to be good?
When you get into the league,
no, motherfucker. Why you think?
It's not even like you had to watch a lot of Ja Morant. Like you don't have to like.
His game was bigger than college.
When D Rose was at Memphis, it's not like you had to watch 40 games. So like you watched 3 or 4 games, you're like,
that motherfucker's good.
I had questions.
Same with Ja Morant. If you watched
questions on D Rose too.
If you watched 3 of his games at Murray State last year, you should have been sold.
I had questions on D Rose too. I had questions on Dwayne Wade.
I just love Murray.
I'm always wrong in college.
I just love Ja Morant because.
His don't give a fuck
he will try to
extraordinary. Hey, he tried to literally end AD's career.
He just missed it.
That's all I
said, damn. And that's why I was
but
like,
even the balls to attempt that shit.
That's what I said.
That's
why I said he's gonna land that hole.
Yeah.
In the next 3 to 4 years, he's gonna land one of those.
With an underbite.
Because that's when he's not even in his athletic prime.
Yeah, he's just a pup.
He don't even know how to eat. He's still eating Tostino's.
He ain't even been through.
He's still eating Tostino's pizzas.
But you're right. He hadn't even been through a pro offseason yet.
Nope.
Where all you do is train and not
do
fuck around and fuck bitches. Fuck that old high school bitch that owed him pussy. That nigga ain't even out that phase yet.
19. Okay, so are you ready to concede yet for the Mavericks and the Pelicans or no?
What was it that we have a better record than y'all?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. I mean, maybe if we went.
You have to go
undefeated, and they would have to go like they'd have to lose.
Don't concede yet. Let's wait till the end of the 82 games. Okay.
Mine is already in.
Yours is already in the bag.
Yeah, it's in the bag.
How many wins y'all got? If y'all just lose.
No, I should got about it. I should got an X by it.
Y'all got 32 wins. We got 39.
I'll tell you one thing though, if both LA teams are able to make it through to the finals, it's gonna be interesting, man. That's gonna be an interesting.
They're not going to have a home court advantage in a 7-game series.
It doesn't matter. Like you're in
LA.
It
does matter.
It matters, but not as much as other
that shit
series.
don't matter. That shit
you
can't
shitting
matter.
me?
That shit can't matter.
Kawhi was getting booed at home. This weekend.
You're in the same gym. You're sleeping in your own bed. You do have the fans against you, but it's not the same as traveling to fucking.
I get what you're saying.
San Antonio.
I get that part of it, but it's still that part of
Kawhi can get a role.
No, I'm not saying.
I'm
not worried about Kawhi. I'm worried about the role players. We all know role players play better when they're making the shot and the shit is cheering for them. They play better. They feed off that energy. fucking stars are gonna be stars, fucking regardless.
But they got this nigga on the bench.
Man, look, they're so.
That only can take. With that type of shit, coach is gonna only take you so far as meeting.
I mean, they have a chance to win the series.
Of course, I'm not saying that's not what I'm saying.
The
I'm not saying
the nigga is the reigning Finals MVP.
At this point right now, I'm still saying, and I'm a Laker fan. I'm still saying the Clippers are a better team because their depth and how they're set up in the playoffs.
They got to make it though, because the Clippers are fragile. I mean, especially
you said you
and
took
by
the
Clippers,
right out my motherfucking mouth.
By Clippers, I mean Paul George, but. I mean, even some of the other ones like Kawhi, but Kawhi's gonna be there.
Even fucking Reggie Jackson, what the fuck has he done?
I don't care about Reggie Jackson.
But I'm just saying,
he ain't gonna play in real minutes. They gonna put Lou Will in that spot.
That was, God damn it, y'all taking the words out my motherfucking mouth.
Phrasing.
Thank you. But that's what I'm saying. Only one that I said that was really was the Morris twin.
Yeah.
That was the one I was like, because
over them.
But they're gonna play critical.
They are,
play on his team.
So
on their team,
them.
they're gonna play critical minutes.
They are.
Right.
Because they can be that small five and shit and they stretch the floor.
Yeah.
So, but like you said, if they meet in the fucking conference finals, I would think they cancel each other out because they're gonna be telling each other fucking bedtime stories and shit on the court to get in each other's heads.
I'm so over the Morris twins, man.
But they're getting that.
Hey, look, I'm not
instead of getting them checks.
Hey,
Shout
look,
out to Dak.
I'm not mad at that.
Hey, sorry to switch subjects. Dak finna all Cal shit fans. Dak is finna Kirk Cousin y'all ass. I said this shit. We both said this shit last year when the offseason, before the season started. We was like, y'all better lock these motherfuckers up, or you gonna have some fucking troubled waters when this shit hits, especially with this new CBA about to hit.
Yeah. But if you think about it from Dak's point of view, like he knows
he's not winning.
Why would I sign? Because first of all, people are
he's winning. He's winning regardless.
I'm like, one, I'm a winning quarterback, so you can't say you can't win with me, at least at some level, at least at the Cousins level.
He's better than Cousins.
Yeah. Two, look at his stats. His stats are fucking good. Everybody keeps acting like his stats ain't good. His stats are fucking good.
Phenomenal.
Then you look at why would I sign a long-term deal before Patty Mahomes? Because you don't know what he's going to do. He might get 45, which now makes 40.
But
very reasonable.
But it's vice versa even with Patty. Patty's looking at him like, if he gets 40, I'm getting 45. Yeah. But I don't even put Patrick Mahomes into this. I put it at where, like you said, he's winning. He has the stats. He has the wins. He's second to Tom Brady in wins over his career since he's been in the league. So it's one of those things, like anything that you would like bulletin board, like, oh, we could throw this at him. No, he's had his 5,000 yard season, so he can throw the ball. He shows stats that he could do that.
So he's checking all the boxes.
He's checking all the boxes. And I said this is one thing I did say when he went to CCA or whatever agency he went to last year.
That was it.
I was like, and I went back and did it's like they're a big money fucking industry. Yeah. They going for all the guap
every time.
And it's like they said, okay, franchise tag me this year. And exclusively franchise tag me. Okay, I'll make 33. The bottom of what you were fucking about to give me. Okay, I'll take that.
He's basically,
and then I do that again to me next year, and it'll be 40. I'll get $70 million in 2 years.
And then I
hit free agency.
Then I get my 120 guarantee
for 3 years.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all. I said final thought. You
didn't let me say anything. You said final thought. There you go, ladies and boys.
Yeah, let him say it first.
No, but I'm just saying this is a smart move by him. This is almost. I mean, Cousins stumbled into it. Cousins stumbled into it because the Redskins didn't want to commit, and they just this wasn't a plan for him.
Snyder had no idea.
Yeah, it just worked out that way, kind of like Nnamdi Asomugha, right? It just worked out that way, But Dak, this is a plan because this is almost an NBA level thing where it's like like LeBron was like, I'll take the little 2 year, and there's some risk if I have some catastrophic shit, but
it's only on catastrophic.
And even if it happens, I got $60 million in the bank. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not the worst case is 60 mil or 70, somewhere between 60 and 70. That's worst case.
That's worst case scenario. That's if Texas.
Yeah. That's if I tear all my shit up.
Yeah.
Right. I get 70 mil.
Shout out to Alex Smith, baby.
Best case is I get that 70 mil on top of some $200 million contract from some other team.
Because by that time, the new CBA is going to be signed. All that new TV money.
Yeah.
Cap is going to be up. That 40 mil at quarterback is going to look like, that $40 million contract is going to look like a $30 million, $25 million contract at that point. I'm winning.
Yeah.
So anybody that's saying he's done for turning this shit down, like you said, that compound interest.
But no, and
this
I guarantee
is a business move.
I guarantee you that's what CAA is thinking. They're like, look, take this franchise. If the cap goes up, then all of a sudden, because the way agents look at it is they look at it as a percentage of the cap. Like okay, who's the fucking guy to comp him to? What's his percentage of the cap? Is it 15, 18, 20, whatever it is? That's what we want. And so they're gonna say, okay, Patty Mahomes gets a $40 million deal.
He is,
and that is, I don't know. Let's just make it up a number. That's 20% of today's cap. They're gonna say after the CBA, and now that it's gone up from
gonna be 12
from 170 to like 230. They're gonna say 15%
of the cap,
which will be whatever the fucking number is, way over $40 million. So, shout out to Dak.
Shout out. His name is Dakota. Because that's what the check is going to say. Dakota.
You can buy a lot.
I'm going to say that nigga name is Dakota.
You can buy a lot of bow ties with that kind of money.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
time.
children of all ages. Episode 142.
142.
We appreciate everybody.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Y'all stay safe, man.
Yeah,
stay safe.
And wipe your shit down. Wipe your shit.
Still wiping off my coronas. Still wiping off my coronas. The coronas is wiped off.
Crazy. We at this bitch. Coronas can be, a Dodger game is a code word for fucking. What movie? You don't know the movie?
Is that Naked Gun?
No, nigga.
Why y'all don't do the juice like that?
No.
Don't do the juice.
The Wedding Ringer. Is Kevin Hart and
I don't think I saw that one.
Oh, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. We out this bitch.
No, you shouldn't.